Look at any complex system, from the motion of a single particle to the exchange of goods in a global market. Everything functions through the dynamics of flow. William L. Weaver's River of Reality model maps these flows into a strict bottom-up hierarchy. It starts at Tier 1, where raw energy and physical matter form the baseline. That predictability allows Tier 2 to emerge, organizing into biological cells. Finally, this biological complexity gives rise to Tier 3, the sociocultural realm. At its base, we find Level 1. This is the domain of science, a discipline built to verify truth. By applying the scientific method, we produce a stable map of reality. We generate data that establishes the physical laws we can all agree on, creating a steady flow of information. Knowing the boiling point of water gives everyone common ground, but raw data and a shared map of physical reality cannot compel strangers to cooperate or build a civilization together. Human networks face a severe scaling problem. You and a million other people might agree on the laws of thermodynamics, but that shared scientific consensus does not, by itself, make you a cohesive group. Maintaining a large nation requires citizens to pay taxes, follow laws, and make sacrifices for people they will never meet. Objective facts are cold. They do not inspire the subjective feelings of kinship needed to sustain that burden. Without a specific mechanism to generate deep connection between strangers, large networks stall out. They face a vacuum of trust that prevents individual people from functioning as a collective. To bridge that gap, the system requires Level 2, art. In this framework, art is a functional discipline that studies membership, the active process of constructing social solidarity. The sociologist Emile Durkheim observed that societies create collective representations. These are shared symbols and narratives that give everyone in a group a common mental map of who they are. The scholar Benedict detailed how vast populations form imagined communities. Through shared cultural artifacts, millions of strangers can feel a horizontal comradeship with people they will never physically encounter. Mass production technologies allow these shared stories and symbols to be distributed to enormous populations simultaneously, ensuring the entire group perceives the same identity script. By disseminating these shared narratives, art acts as the mechanism that allows individual human brains to network together and operate as a unified collective. We often assume beauty is merely formal, a collection of shapes and colors detached from the way we actually live. The philosopher Nelson Goodman argued that art is actually a way of knowing. It classifies reality and organizes chaotic lived experiences into structures we can understand and share. When an artist successfully takes chaotic data and raw experiences and aligns them into a coherent structure, we perceive that harmonious integration as beauty. Grasping that complex meaning triggers epistemic fulfillment. We experience the intellectual satisfaction of seeing the parts form a meaningful whole. Beauty, therefore, is not a luxury. It is the vital signal that we have successfully processed the shared meaning necessary to survive as a massive society. This cognitive alignment is highly effective, but it requires a visceral engine to make these social bonds last. The author Leo Tolstoy identified this mechanism in his expressionist theory of art. Tolstoy defined art through emotional infection. A creator experiences a genuine emotion, joy, sorrow, or courage, and intentionally transmits that exact feeling to an audience through their work. When thousands of people experience this infection simultaneously, standing before a war memorial or singing together in a stadium, individual empathy scales up. The private feeling of "I feel this" becomes the undeniable reality of "we feel this." This scaled emotional resonance produces the flow of connection, the social gravity that binds a society together into a cohesive, functioning whole. The trust generated by art is the launchpad for the rest of human complexity. You cannot build complex institutions without a population that already feels a shared identity. Once art establishes that cohesive group, society can build Level 3, religion and values. The population can now agree on what is important, establishing a shared moral hierarchy. With widespread moral trust, strangers can honor transactions, enabling Level 4, economics, to manage the complex flow of commerce and resources. Managing the scale of that wealth and infrastructure creates collective action problems, necessitating Level 5, politics, to govern those shared goals. Finally, the system is capped by level 6, philosophy. This meta-system generates consciousness, allowing the society to turn back and reflect on its own structure. This reveals a stacked dependency. While physics and biology provide the physical stage, the higher superstructure of human achievement, our values, markets, and laws, relies on the social alignment that art provides. This system carries an inherent shadow. The flow of connection is a directional vector. By defining exactly who belongs inside the in-group, you automatically draw a border that creates an out-group. The same aesthetic tools and shared myths used to unite a civilization can be weaponized to divide, exclude, and fracture populations along identity lines. Art serves as a primary tool for defining group identity. Because it draws the very boundaries of our collective identity, we must be radically conscious